Hey, KHawks Nation, it's Coach Malone here. I hope you're well. Listen, welcome to the very first episode of Hawk Talk. This is intended to be a semi-regular segment that we're going to be putting out as often as possible. But really our objective is just simply to help travel baseball families in Central Illinois stay educated and informed about what's going on with travel baseball in the area. Help share information when it comes to improving athletic and academic skill sets, and truly just to make sure that we're helping raise the level of baseball play for youth baseball in Central Illinois, regardless of the organization. So hope you enjoy the material today. I had an awesome opportunity to go out and shoot new material and speak with some great baseball players and coaches today at the third annual KHawks Winter Development Camp. Took place out at Louisville Slugger. So I want to say a big thanks to Coach Rick Gay and his team for always helping and coordinating many of the events that KHawks put on. But certainly his time and energy have helped us to put on things like the KHawks Camp, and we're certainly grateful for that. But it's also awesome to see both college players, coaches, as well as professional players who are coming back in during their off season and investing in 8 to 12-year-old baseball players who have really the same aspirations that they do. And that's about playing baseball as far as they possibly can, whether that be to high school, college baseball, or beyond. And really, we're just thrilled to be a part of their journey, helping them develop and get closer and closer to chasing that dream. So it was awesome to see guys like Ethan Skinder, who is part of the San Diego Padres organization, out there working with kids today. You had Trent Johnson, a big pitcher from Tulane, who had an awesome start to the year last year prior to COVID shutting down the baseball season. That entire bullpen looked great and certainly kind of had the table set for a great run towards Omaha. So I'm looking forward to seeing another great year from Trent this year. Braden Blackford, who started his college career out at Carl Sandburg under Coach Josh Foreman, had an awesome year with the bat, absolutely tore the cover off of it and ended up transferring over to play Division I ball at ISU. All around great guy. So great to see him out working with the boys today. Taylor Catton, who's in his first year as a pitcher at Bradley, recent Dunlap graduate. Again, for those of you who know Taylor's a great guy. One heck of a baseball player. And it was funny because as we were watching him coach today, the one thing that stood out as we were talking with the other coaches there was we thought Taylor was probably having more fun than the kids were. So, the one thing I do want to say is that I think he had an ERA of like 14 against those 8-year-olds. But don't worry, Taylor, we won't tell Coach Dominguez. Caleb Johnson and Ashton Johnson, both recent grads from Brimfield, part of the Brimfield teams under Coach Brandon Porter that ran to a couple of super sectional runs, now playing out at Carl Sandburg. Both guys in there working hard, helping with the kids and having a great time doing it. And we even have, some of the younger talent, guys like Jack Barnum who are in there. Jack is graduating from Dunlap this year. He's going to play baseball at Carl Sandburg. But I'm going to tell you, I think that Jack is overlooked in this area. He's one of my favorite high school baseball players, and it's because he just simply plays the game bigger than he is. The kid always plays 100%. I'm out probably 4 or 5 nights a week in facilities, as either coaching my son or coaching parts of the team. And I almost always see Jack out working hard and dragging other baseball players out there to get better with him. So we're really looking forward to watching him grow into his college career. And it's great to see him out there helping with some of the kids today as well. Lastly, I wanted to talk just quickly about 360 Speed and performance. 360 Speed was just recently announced as the KHawks official strength and conditioning partner, but Adam Miller and team were out in full effect today, really helping these guys understand what they need to do to properly warm up, how to get faster, how to get stronger, and they do a wonderful job for us. So, anybody who's out there thinking about speed and strength and conditioning, I would highly recommend getting a hold of the team over at 360. Like I said, they do really a phenomenal job for our boys, and I can tell you we've seen incredible results. So thank you for being there today, guys. Lastly, I got an opportunity to spend quite a bit of time today with KHawks founder and still one of the head coaches, Todd Johnson. Todd started the organization 12 years ago. Many of the guys that were there coaching today were original players for Todd. And I really just wanted to pick Todd's brain and learn a little bit more about why he started the organization, how it really turned into a kind of a passion project for him, and the impact that it's had not only on the boys but on the coaches and the teams as well. So I'm not going to steal any thunder from that interview. I'm going to let you hear it directly from Todd's mouth. But again, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who participated in the Winter Development Camp today. Looking forward to day 2 tomorrow. And without any further ado, I hope you enjoy the time that I spent here with Coach Johnson. Hey guys, it's Coach Malone. I'm here with Todd Johnson, founder of the KHawks. We're out here today at the Louisville Slugger Dome in Peoria, Illinois, for our, I believe, 3rd annual KHawks Camp.
It is the 3rd annual. It's hard to believe it's the 3rd annual camp.
It's nuts. I mean, the organization's grown so quickly. We've got kids out here from across the central Illinois area. Most importantly, we've got guys that are out here who are playing professional baseball, playing college baseball, coaching college baseball, that are out here helping these guys really learn the fundamentals of the game, having a great time, and just helping them become better baseball players. But Coach Johnson, tell us a little bit about kind of how we've gotten to this point.
Yeah, so it's been a journey. This is the 12th year of the KHawks. Kind of started out as a conversation watching March Madness one year, and kind of evolved the next year into just, hey, let's try it out. And then every year it kind of grew, and we had success, and it kept growing. And so we had a lot of people that were part of the program, and been really fortunate to have a lot of good people as part of the program. And then I'd say probably 4 years ago, we really started thinking about let's try to do a camp. And I think the goal of the camp was, how do we bring local college? There's a lot of good local talent. How do we bring that local talent and pass that knowledge on? And so we were fortunate enough, my nephew plays, at Tulane, and he has a good group of friends that we're able to leverage some of those connections. And then some of the coaches that we got to be able to kind of start up the camp. Didn't know what to expect, and it's been a really good thing for the program. And, I think it's a 60-40 mix. I mean, we have 60% of the kids are probably KHawks kids, 40% are from other towns, and I think they all learn something. They learn drills to do at home, and there's something that they all take from this camp to become better ball players and better human beings.
Yeah, awesome. Well, tell me a little bit about why you started the KHawks to begin with.
Yeah, so I still don't know that for sure yet. Maybe it's because I'm a sucker for punishment. Now, it is where I lived out in Brimfield, there really was no travel program, and everyone was kind of centralized to the bigger towns, to the Mortons and the Dunlaps and the Washington. And so it was one of those where we originally kind of started up for the small school kids. How do we give the kids from Princeville and Brimfield and Elmwood and Williamsfield and Rova, how do we give them an opportunity to be able to compete against these big enrollment? And so really it was, we started out getting kind of some of the small school kids together, and it was just it was a little bit of bumps in the roads at first, but it was just one of those things that first group really connected.
Right.
And those kids have become more like brothers. And, they're in their 20s, 19, 20, 21 years old. And those guys still talk. Those guys still hang out. And, we've lost some good people in the organization, which made that group closer. And it was one of those things that I think they felt the family aspect of it, and it just kind of grew from there. And so if you would have asked me 12 years ago how many teams we got now? I don't
14?
know. 14 teams. And we would be 8U through 17U. I would have said you're crazy. But, it's one of those things that we've been blessed with good people who are in it for the right reasons, which is the kids. I mean, it's the development of the kids. And I think we focus on baseball, but we're trying to make these kids better human beings too.
For sure. 100%.
Which is important. So, but the model of the organization when we first started was competitive fun baseball, and that's really what we've strived to be is how do we get these kids better at baseball? How do we learn to coach them at a higher level? How do we integrate some of the new technology, the new teaching methods into our organization? But how do we get these kids to have fun? This is a game, and it's meant to have fun.
For
and
sure.
so I think this becomes a job for too many young kids.
Right.
And so we want the game aspect to come through. And another part of the organization that we will never get away from is we love multi-sport kids.
Right.
We want our kids playing other sports. We don't want them to be baseball 365. If they want to go play basketball or football or wrestle or whatever, we want them to have the ability to do that. So.
Well, and I know that's something obviously top down we encourage. It's know it's one of those things where we have basketball going on all the time during our winter workouts and just getting them ready. And one of the things we focus on is making sure they feel comfortable taking that time and getting out there and playing that other sport, knowing we've got enough time to catch them up and get their arms ready by the time we get to season.
Yeah, I think basketball. You talk about basketball. Being a good defender in basketball is going to be the same posture position as hitting.
For sure.
It's going to be the same posture as fielding. So I think they all translate.
Right.
And I think they all help develop the athletes to become who they are. So, we've been blessed, and now that we got Chris is part of the program, and Monty's just done. Monty's taken this thing to a whole new level, and so
for sure.
We've had some good people in the program, and as I kind of fade off into the sunset in upcoming years, it's been nice that we have something that might have some legs to it,
right.
Some longevity, and it's weird as I see some of these kids I have, that I coached 5 or 6 years ago, and I would say for a big part of them, I come up and they give me a hug right now.
Absolutely.
We just got that bond. We have all those memories, and it's not about wins and losses. It's about the stories, in the hotels and in the dugout, and that seems to be the things that we always remember. So.
Well, there's nothing better than being out somewhere, not expecting it, and hearing Coach come yelling from across the room, right? And you got a kid who's excited to see you because you've invested in him.
Yeah, it is getting a little weird that some of them are being 21, and you run into them out there, but it just shows you how old I am. But I think it's, it's been one of those journeys. It's been a lot of work. And there's been some moments that I could have lost some friends, or it's been tough
for sure.
But I feel like I will never forget this journey. I'll never forget the relationships. It's not the wins and losses; it's the relationships and the people I met along the way. So, those are the memories that I take with me, as I get older, and those relationships, and it's one of those things I don't look back with any regrets.
Right. So, well, one of the things I think is coolest about this camp is original KHawks team. I know we have at least 2 of the guys from the original KHawks team that are here today working with the brand new kids coming into the organization. They're playing college baseball now.
Yep.
They've had one hell of a high school career. They had a great travel career, and now they're investing back into the program. So I think that's just awesome. It really kind of tells you about the DNA of the KHawks.
Well, and I think you got 4 or 5 actually from the original one.
Wow.
So I think what you're going to see is, when these kids have their college careers and have opportunities maybe to go on professionally, and some of them won't, you'll start seeing more of them coaching.
Right.
They're going to come back, and they want to give back to the program because I think they felt like it gave something to them.
For sure.
Whatever that was, and you'd have to ask them. But I feel like, they have very fond memories of being a KHawk, being part of the organization. And to me, that's an important part of life.
I agree.
So, in this camp it's even bigger and better. I mean, we've had some professional guys, a lot of highly ranked, a lot of highly talented college and high school athletes here, and it's for a 2-day camp for what the cost is. I mean, you can't ask for a better fundamental camp. They do a great job with it.
I've never heard anything other than super positive feedback, and we're a competitive baseball community. I mean, when it comes down to it, when we see each other on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, we're arch rivals. But at the end of the day, I think Peoria's got a great and budding baseball community. What I always love is hearing from other coaches that compete against us how much their kids love the camp.
Yeah, and I think I was just having a conversation with a high school baseball coach a little bit ago. And the thing is we got kids from all over Central Illinois playing for our organization. We're helping this high school program out.
Absolutely.
It's not about us against someone else's we got kids that go everywhere. So we are trying to teach them fundamentals in baseball to make them a better baseball player, which will translate to their high school program. And so I think, with bringing that all in and having people from other programs, we're not here for the wins and losses. The summer stuff with the KHawks, we've got kids from others. We're going to coach them up just as well, just as hard as we're going to coach our other kids. We're here for baseball.
Right.
We're here to make better individuals, to give the world better individuals and better people. And so, I think we love the KHawks, we love that, but we love baseball.
Right.
And I don't think people understand how good baseball is in Peoria.
Yeah, absolutely.
We definitely get underestimated by up north about how good baseball is. We have some really good baseball around here. And I think that's what we're promoting is Peoria area baseball.
Absolutely.
Well, speaking of that, I remember just this year, it's so fun having those kids from other programs who, they may come back in, they may run a couple practices with you. You may work with them out at a couple of the facilities and help them get better with their glove work or their hitting or whatever the case may be. And just out here on one of the quads this year, had a kid hit his very first home run, opposite team, and you're giving him a hug as he rounds the bases because you just care about that kid getting better and being a good baseball player and being a good human being, to your point.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things, we compete. We got our rivals
For
locally.
sure.
We compete, but it's one of those things, ultimately it's a baseball community. And I think what 2020 has learned is it's taken some of that away, and you value and love that community even more. And so we want to see everyone do well. So if we're playing, for example, Dunlap, we're going to compete with them.
For sure.
But if Dunlap's playing Yorkville or someone up north, man, we're rooting for Dunlap.
Right.
We want the Peoria area teams. We want them to do well. And so really, this is about KHawks, but I always say it's about Peoria baseball.
It is.
It's showcasing that talent.
And it's so fun, I think, because Peoria area is really looking to step up and become that hub like it was for basketball in the 90s, right?
Yep.
Basketball in the 90s in Peoria, you couldn't touch it. Baseball is really what we want to see come and get to that same level, and I think we've got the potential. But the reason is I do think that the organizations competitively take a guy like Jesse Crawford over in Morton.
Yeah.
You talk to Jesse, you're going to have a game every single time you play him. He's going to put it on you both from a strategy perspective as well as fielding 9 great guys on the field. But he's the guy who's calling you and saying, hey, listen, we want to play you guys, and it's vice versa because we know iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
It's just simply about getting better baseball players and helping everybody get to that maximum level they can get to while they're having fun.
Yeah, and we're blessed in the Peoria area to have a lot of good coaches. I mean, you talk about Jesse, his team is very well coached, but there's a lot of good coaches in the area. And so I love playing those guys, and they got some horses over there.
For sure.
And you fundamentally have to be prepared. When you play them, a Limestone team, there's a bunch of Dunlap, all Washington's,
Right.
all those teams, they're really well coached and they're really well prepared. And so I think what it does, it elevates us to play a little bit better. And I think it's that friendly rivalry. That every once in a while we get a little competitive. But we come back and we're all still the same family area, being out of Peoria. And so it's been great to get to know some of those guys. And it's, some of these kids that are help coaching, I coached against all growing up, and they play here locally, but they want to come back. Like I said, it's about Peoria baseball, and I think they get that and they see that. And so, it's been a great camp. It's been a great thing we're able to do this year. Weren't quite for sure how that was going to work out,
right.
But we've been fortunate enough to be able to get it in this year, and we're just hoping that we get some baseball in coming into 2021.
Absolutely. So. Well, I think Coach Rick Gay runs Louisville Slugger here with the Spencer and his sons.
Yeah.
One, they make a huge investment in what we do just in terms of coordinating, but to be able to really make sure that we can social distance and still do things that are required for COVID protocol to get 100 kids in here and be able to keep them spread out but still be able to develop, it's a huge opportunity for them.
The Louisville Slugger Complex is just a phenomenal facility.
Absolutely.
As well as a great leadership. And so I think with Rick has done everything within the protocols to make sure that we're safe and that we're putting on a very safe camp,
right.
But making sure that the kids are able to do some stuff and able to get better. And so this complex has been top notch. I mean, the facility, look at the dome is top notch. The fields are top notches. And so it's been one of those partnerships with them that's been a really good partnership with a really well-ran organization with a nice complex.
Absolutely.
And so I applaud them for everything they do, and they put a lot of extra work in to make sure that we're safe. So,
listen, I got one last question for you, and I know you got a lot going on. I'll cut you loose. What I'm curious about from your perspective is almost every family that I see come over and play a year with the KHawks, immediately it's just like they feel something that's different. It's like, hey, it's different over here.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? What is it about the organization that you feel like really just draws people in and makes them feel like a part of the family right away?
That's a great question, and I guess I've not thought about that much, but that's really something to probably ask the kids.
Yeah.
I know for me, it's the relationships,
sure,
and the bonds and the memories that I have. And as I get older, I start to realize how important that is. And I'm a different coach from maybe when my older kid came through. My third year in, I was probably more of a football coach.
Right, sure.
I had these guys ready to run down on kickoff.
Right.
Inning 1. By inning 5, they were about asleep, because
right.
all the adrenaline. But there's just something to it's something almost magical. I hate to use that, but there's something to being a K-Hawk.
Yeah.
As that family atmosphere, that it's a pride thing. And I think that's a question that would be a good question to some of the kids, because for me, it's been one of those things that we've kind of built this brand and built this and this magical thing, but I can't tell you what the formula was. I think it's having the right people.
I think it's a huge part of it.
I think it's getting the right people, having the right messaging, being in it for the right reasons, which I think is a huge thing.
Right.
And I think that kind of translates to kids. And I think we've stayed kind of modern on the teaching and the technology, and Monty does a great job developing, the look and the branding and the logos and all that. But I think it comes back to, if you had to ask me, it comes back to competitive fun.
Yeah, I agree.
The kids learn baseball. We are very competitive. We will play with anyone.
Right.
But we tend to have a good time.
Absolutely.
And so, to me, it's picking the right coaches, the right people, and the right families.
Right. No, I agree. I think that, the who is a massive part of it.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that I've always been incredibly impressed about at every single level is just the willingness and the knowledge of even just the secondary string coaches, the dads that come back in and help these guys who are, putting all the time and effort and energy to build the strategy and make sure that, their practice plans are airtight and that they're really got a clear plan to develop those guys over the course of the year and get them ready to compete. But you got so much help around us, and I mean, not just dads that are great, helpful dads, but super high Q baseball dads. And I think that's a big part of, I know certainly at the levels I've coached at in the KHawks organization, it's been a massive part of our success.
Well, when you're looking for, we're volunteers. We're all volunteers. No one gets paid to do this.
That's right.
I've said the 12 years or actually 15 years I've coached, but what I get every year is a shirt and a hat.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I get for it. To get that type of level of dedication and that type of level of talent that we've gotten, we've been very fortunate.
Absolutely.
We have a lot of people that are passionate about kids, passionate about sports, passionate about what we do, passionate about the organization. That it's really came together to I think the kids feel that.
Right.
I think they feel that love. And so without those coaches, without those parents, without the people, the administrators, none of this is possible. But those first 3-4 years we could have easily folded, but I'll tell you what drove it through was the parents and the kids.
Yeah, for sure.
We had a great group of parents and a great group of kids, and I think people looked at that from the outside and said, hey, I want to be part of that.
Absolutely.
And so what caused that? I don't know if it was just luck. I don't know if it was, but I got to think the people, and I got to think the process and what we're doing, there's something good to it to make people want to come back.
Right. So, yeah, it's great. Well, listen, I mean, Todd put a tremendous amount of work in and obviously has nurtured the program to where it's gotten to today. People like Monty, who over here in the background is overrunning things currently and just making sure that this camp comes off in a great way, has taken it to that next level. We've got a tremendous amount of work and effort that's going into expanding the program and making sure that, those kids now from a 13 to 17U level, not only are they getting the development that they need, but they're getting the exposure that they need to really get out in front of the college coaches that they've got the capability to play for and legitimately get an opportunity to compete for positions. That's what we're focused on going in with those older groups over the next couple of years. So I'm excited to see where it went.
Yeah, you and Monty have taken this thing to a next level. I mean, I think I had a vision, and you guys executed on the vision plus. And so I think, with me having 4 kids that are playing and a couple in college and being able to do that, it got to be a little tough. But you guys have taken this program to a level I've never thought would be possible. So I tip my cap to you and Monty. I mean, you guys are doing a phenomenal job, and I'm glad to be part of the ride. So.
Well, it's always mutual respect with Coach Johnson. Always very modest and humble. But I'll tell you, if you get an opportunity, you see Coach Johnson out at the fields over the course of the year, stop by, say hello. I can promise you he's never short for words. So that being said, just enjoy a conversation with him and get an opportunity to talk with him a couple seconds. I can promise you it'll be a good discussion. But Coach Johnson, I just want to say thanks for taking the time.
Thanks,
and thank you.
Thank you, man.
So as always, great conversation with Coach Johnson. I'll tell you that for those of you who know Todd, he's an amazing guy. He really has a really big heart, loves baseball, but more than that, he's got a really big heart for the boys. He cares about each member of the organization. He is very serious about making sure that he does everything that he possibly can to help these boys be successful. And it's really top-down leadership that has come from him starting the organization, really handing those reins over to Monty to a large degree as his boys got closer to college age, and he moved back into coaching. And I'll say that I've had many hours and opportunities to spend on the field and in the dugout with Coach Johnson, and his mentality really kind of permeates the entire organization. So He's a big part of who we are and what we do, and I certainly couldn't be happier to be part of the organization that he's built. So that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed our very first episode. Certainly more to come. Got some exciting interviews coming up tomorrow with some coaches and players at a college and pro level, so we'll begin sharing some of that content with you here in the coming weeks. I'm sure we'll give an update to you on all of the events and happenings tomorrow at the Winter Development Camp for Day 2. But in the meantime, listen, I hope you guys are safe, be well, and go KHawks.